Observe these pictures. Spirit is used as an antiseptic on the arm before an injection. Perfume emits a pleasant smell. What do spirits and perfume have in common? Let's find out. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to state the elements found in alcohol, give examples of alcohol, state the general characteristics of alcohol. The images shown here are a spirit lamp, hard liquor, perfume, and a cleansing spray. What do these items contain? These items contain alcohol. These are some examples of alcohol. The elements present in these alcohols are shown in the structural formulae. Look at the structure of each alcohol. What are the elements that are present in each alcohol? Alcohols are organic compounds that contain the elements carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Oxygen is attached to hydrogen to form hydroxyl groups. The hydroxyl group is the functional group of alcohols. The names of alcohol usually end in -ol. The alcohols are different in the numbers of carbon atom in their molecules. Methanol is the simplest alcohol. It has one carbon atom. Ethanol is the most common alcohol. It has two carbon atoms. Propanol and butanol are alcohols which have 3 and 4 carbon atoms respectively. Here are some of the characteristics of alcohol. They are colorless liquids at room temperature. They are also highly volatile. What are other characteristics of alcohol? The other characteristics of alcohol can be observed in terms of solubility and miscibility, combustibility, and its reaction with organic acids. Let's do an activity. We will observe the solubility and miscibility of alcohol in water. You are given these materials for the activity: ethanol and distilled water. You are given these apparatus for the activity: test tube, dropper. Follow this procedure. Measure 10 milliliters of distilled water. Pour the distilled water into a test tube. Add a few drops of ethanol into the test tube using a dropper. Shake the test tube for a few seconds. Add a few more drops of ethanol into the test tube. Observe whether ethanol is soluble in water and miscible with water. Record your findings in the table. Click Check Answer to compare your answers. The solution is colorless. It does not form any layers. Therefore, ethanol is soluble in water and miscible with water. Let's carry out another activity. We will determine the combustibility of alcohol. You are given these materials for the activity: alcohol, wooden splinter, and filter paper. You are given these apparatus for the activity: dropper, evaporating dish, and tongs. Now, click Precaution before starting the activity. Put the asbestos sheet on the table. This is to avoid any spilled alcohol from spoiling the table surface. Do not use too much ethanol. Do not put the ethanol near the Bunsen burner. This is because ethanol is highly flammable. Click Play to see how the activity is carried out. Put a few drops of ethanol into an evaporating dish. Light the wooden splinter. Light the ethanol in the evaporating dish with the lighted wooden splinter. Observe the color of the flame. Put a piece of filter paper on top of the evaporating dish. Observe if there are any changes on the filter paper. Record your observation. Click Check Answer to compare your answers. The color of the flame is blue. There is no soot on the filter paper. Ethanol burns easily in air. When ethanol burns in air, carbon dioxide is released and water is produced. Let's carry out another activity. We will observe the reaction of alcohol with an organic acid. You are given these materials for the activity: ethanol, ethanoic acid, concentrated sulfuric acid, and distilled water. You are given these apparatus for the activity: boiling tube, dropper, thongs, Bunsen burner, water bath, beaker, stirrer, measuring cylinder, tripod stand, wire gauze. Follow this procedure. Measure 5 milliliters of ethanol. Pour it into a boiling tube. Measure 5 milliliters of ethanoic acid. Pour the ethanoic acid into the boiling tube that contains the ethanol. Use the stirrer to stir the mixture of ethanol and ethanoic acid. Add a few drops of concentrated sulfuric acid into the mixture. The concentrated sulfuric acid acts as the catalyst in the reaction. Handle it with care. Concentrated sulfuric acid is very corrosive. Heat the mixture in a water bath for 5 minutes. Stir the mixture again after 2 to 3 minutes of heating. Measure 100 milliliters of distilled water. Pour the hot mixture into the beaker. Observe the mixture and smell it. Record your observation in the table. Click Check Answer to compare your answers. An insoluble layer floats on the water. It has a sweet smell. What can you conclude from this experiment? Discuss this with your friends. Click Check Answer to compare your answers. The reaction between ethanol and ethanoic acid produces ethyl ethanoate, which is an ester and water. This reaction is known as esterification. Esters easily vaporize and have a pleasant smell. Look at the equations. Alcohols are organic compounds that contain carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Oxygen is attached to hydrogen to form an OH group called the hydroxyl group. Some examples of alcohols are methanol, ethanol, propanol, and butanol. The characteristics of alcohol are: alcohol is a colorless liquid at room temperature. Alcohol is soluble in water. Alcohol is also miscible with water. Alcohol burns easily in air to produce carbon dioxide and water. Alcohol reacts with an organic acid to form ester. The other property of alcohol is its dehydration reaction. When alcohol is heated with the presence of concentrated sulfuric acid, water is removed. What product is formed in this reaction? What are the uses of the product formed? Find out. Refer to books and the Internet. Prepare a report. Present your findings to the class.